Okay, so in today's class, we are going to learn about tissues. Okay, so according to you, what is a tissue? Can you tell me? Yes. What do you mean by tissue? Anyone? Okay, that's a quick response. So we'll learn about the tissue. So in simple way, tissue it is a group of cells. Okay. In our previous class, we have learned about the cells. So cell is the fundamental unit of life. So a group of cell it is called as tissue. So that we are going to learn in this class briefly. So introduction part all living organisms are made of cells. Okay, so if you check out that most of the organisms, every organism, they are made up of what? Cells. Okay, then in unicellular organisms, a single cell performs all basic functions. For example, in amoeba, a single cell carries out movement, intake of food, and respiratory gases, respiration and excretion. So in unicellular organism, unicellular means the organisms which are having single cell or which are made up of only single cell. So those are called as unicellular organism. So this unicellular organism, they carry out all the basic functions, okay, with the help of single cell only. So we have seen the example of amoeba. So amoeba, it is a unicellular organism, right? So it carry out the movement that is moving from one place to another place. It carry out by single cell, okay? And with the help of that single cell only, it take the food, it exchange the gases, then it excretes the waste material, okay? So all the process is carried out with the single cell. Then in multicellular organisms, there are millions of cells. Most of these cells are specialized to carry out a few functions. So multicellular organisms means the organisms which are made up of more than one cell or the organisms which are having many cells. Okay. So if we take the example of human beings, that is ourselves. Okay. We are made up of millions of cells and we have specialized cell to carry out particular function. So in our previous class, we have discussed that to carry out the respiration, we are having different cells. To carry out the flow of blood, again different cell. For the digestion of food, different cell. For the movement, again different. Okay, so here in our body, we are having different cells which carry out the different activities. So each specialized function is taken up by the different group of cells. Since these cells carry out only a particular function, they do it very efficiently. Now see, the cells when they combine together, okay, a group of cells, okay, they carry out only a particular function. Okay, a group of cell it will carry out respiration. A group of cell it will carry out digestion. Okay, so they are having their own particular function and they it very promptly or efficiently. So in human beings, muscle cells contract and relax to cause movement. Nerve cells carry messages. Blood flows to transport oxygen, food, hormones, and waste material, and so on. Now in human beings, the muscle cells, okay, they contract and relax to cause movement. Okay, in our body only. If you see your body, okay, it carry out various actions, various movements, various activities. For that, we are having the muscle cell. Okay, then I'm teaching over here. So you are listening to me, and that message is passed to your brain. Okay, whenever you are writing or if someone pinches you, that message is carrying through your nervous system and it goes to your brain. So for this, we are having different cells. Then the flow of blood in the body. Okay, and that blood is carrying oxygen, food, hormones, waste material, and so many other things. Okay, so these all things is carried out by different cells. Okay, then next. In plants, vascular tissue conduct food and water from one part of the plant to other parts. So multicellular organisms show division of labor. In plants also we are having different cells, okay, and that different cells when they combine it forms the tissue. So in plant we are having tissues which conducts the food and water, that is transport of food and transport of water. It is conducted by the some specialized tissue, okay, that we are going to learn in this chapter. Okay, so this transport of food and water, it takes place in the whole body of the plant. Okay, that is sorry, in the whole part of the plant. Okay, not the body. It will transported in the whole part of the plant. So plant, it is also a multicellular organism. Cells specializing in one function are often grouped together in the body. This means that a particular function is carried out by a cluster of cells at a definite place in the body. This cluster of cells, called a tissue, is then tissue is arranged and designed so as to give the highest possible efficiency of function. Now see, cells specializing one functions are often grouped together in the body. So this whole thing is that this cell, okay, when they form a group or the cluster of cell, okay, a group of cell, it is called as tissue. Now, if they form a group of cell, it doesn't mean that it is alone. It is called as tissue. Okay, they are having a particular function. They are having a particular design. Okay, these cells are arranged in such a way that they are having their own function. Okay, so a group of cell, it is called as tissue, which are having a particular function to carry out, and they are having a particular structure also. Okay, so that is called as tissue. Just a minute. Yes, you can. Blood, phloem, and muscles are the examples of tissue. Okay, so here you can see that blood, phloem, muscles, these are the examples of tissue. Even there are so many examples are there which we are going to learn in this chapter. So here we are having the definition of tissue. A group of cells that are similar in structure and or work together to achieve a particular function forms a tissue. Okay, so as I said, a group of cell, it is called as tissue, and this group of cell, they are having a similar structure. Okay, they are having a particular structure and they carry out a particular work. A specific work is given to that tissue, either it may be respiration, movement, transport of food, water, blood, anything. Okay, so that is called as tissue. Now let us see the next part. Now, next thing is, are plants and animals made same type of tissue? Here the question arises whether the plant tissues and the animal tissues, they both are same. So plant tissue and animal tissue. So let us differentiate them. So in plant tissue, plants are stationary or fixed. They don't move. Okay. So what is there in the plant tissue? This plant tissue, they are fixed. They are stationary. Means they are not moving from one place to another place. Suppose if the plants are having the muscle tissue, then what will happen? The plants will also started to move like us. Okay, they will also move from one place to another place. So plants, they don't have the tissues which performs the movement. Okay, which performs the function of movement. Whereas in animals, uh, animals on the other hand move around in search of food, mates, and shelter. So animals, they move from one place to another place because they are having muscle tissue. And why the animals are moving? The animals are moving for the sake of food, for the mates, and for the shelter. Next, most of the tissues they have are supportive, which provide them with the structural strength. Now in the plant tissues, okay, the tissues which is present in the plant, okay, they are having the function of support. Okay, they provide the mechanical support to the plant. They provide the structural strength for the plant. Means a particular structure should be there. Okay, so that is given by the plant tissues. Okay, whereas in animal tissue, they consume more energy as compared to plants. Okay, in our case we are having the uh, tissues which consume more energy. Okay, and we are also having a structure, but that is not the tissue. Okay, most of these tissue are dead since dead cells can provide mechanical strength as easy as live ones and need less maintenance. Now, in the case of plant tissue, most of the tissue are dead only. Okay, in the plant tissue, we find the dead tissue. Okay, so what is the function of these dead ones? They give the mechanical strength. Okay, and it requires less maintenance. There is no much maintenance required for the dead tissues. Whereas in animals, animals don't have the dead tissue. Okay, most of the tissues they contain are living. So in the animals, most of the tissues are living one. There are no dead tissues. The growth in plant is limited to certain regions. In the plants, the tissues they are having a limited growth. Okay, in plants, the tissues are having the limited growth, whereas in the animals, the growth is uniform all over the body. So in the case of animals, what happens? The whole body starts to grow. It is not like that one hand is growing and another hand is not growing. Okay, the growth in the case of animal it takes place all over the body, whereas in the case of plant it will take at a certain uh, region. For example, the axis of the uh, plant or the end region or the growing part, okay, they are limited one. Now the next thing, so here we are having the a graphical representation, or you can say the hierarchy or the branches of the plant tissue. So in this case, you can see that the plant tissue, okay, in this we are having two groups, that is meristematic tissue and permanent tissue. So meristematic tissue, it is the tissue which is found at the growing region, okay, at the tip of the plant. Okay, whereas permanent tissue, this permanent tissue are obtained from the meristematic tissue. We are going to learn about this. Then meristematic tissue, it is again divided into three subgroups, that is apical meristem, lateral meristem and intercalary meristem. Okay, then permanent tissue, this tissue is again divided into two groups, that is simple permanent tissue, complex permanent tissue. Then simple permanent tissue is divided into three parts, that is parenchyma, collenchyma and sclerenchyma. Okay, then this collenchyma, in this again we are having two parts, that is arenchyma and chlorenchyma. We are going to learn about that. Then sclerenchyma, it is the fibers and the sclerites. Then complex permanent tissue, complex permanent tissue is divided into two parts, that is xylem and phloem. So in xylem we are having five parts, that is tracheids, vessels which is also called as trachea, then xylem parenchyma, xylem, actually this came twice, okay, it should be xylem fibers. Okay, then over here sieve tubes, companion cells, phloem parenchyma and phloem fibers. Next, uh, meristematic tissue. Okay, so before understanding the meristematic tissue, let us perform an activity, that is activity 6.1. So in activity 6.1, you have to take two glass jars and fill them with water. Okay, you have to take two glass jars and fill them with water. Now take two onion bulbs and place each uh, one on each jar as shown in figure. So here you can see we have taken two glass jars, right? So here we are having two glass jars and we have filled these glass jars with water. Okay, you have to fill it completely. Don't fill it half or only a small amount of water should be taken, nothing like that. You have to fill it completely. Then you have to take two onion bulbs, okay, and you have to place those onion bulbs on the glass jar as shown in the figure. Now, observe the growth of roots in both the bulbs for few days. For few days, what you have to do? You have to observe the growth of the bulbs. That is the roots of the onion bulbs. So you can see that these are the roots. So what will happen? They will start growing. Yes, they are getting the water. That's why they are start growing. Then measure the length of the roots on day 1, day 2 and day 3. Now what you have to do? For 3 days, okay, for 3 days you have to measure the length of the roots, and you have to measure whatever observation that is your recording is there, you have to mention here. So length of the root day 1 of both the onions, the length of the root on day 2 of both the onions, then 3 same as it is. Then on day 4th, on day 4, cut the root tips of the onion bulb in jar 2 by about 1 centimeter. Now, what you have to do, this is jar 2. Take out this onion bulb and cut the roots about 1 centimeter. Okay, cut the root about 1 centimeter, then again keep it, place it back. Okay, then next. After this, observe the growth of roots in both the jars and measure their lengths each day for 5 more days, and record the observation in table like uh, the table below. Okay. So what you have to do? You have to place the bulb after cutting it 1 centimeter on the 4th day. Then after that, again you have to start recording for 5 more days. Okay. Then what you will observe? What is your observation? So no one is talking. We'll see. Yes, what is your observation? Can you tell me? Yes, roots grow again. In which case? Jar 1 or jar 2? Very good name. You gave the correct answer. But in which jar? Just specify it. Why no one is audible? Okay, yes. Akul, very good. It is. It will start growing in jar 1. Okay. So from the above observations, answer the following questions. So here we are having some questions on activity 6.1. Which of the two onions have longer roots and why? So as you gave the answer, jar 1 has longer roots because they have dividing tissues. Okay. So in the case of jar 1, it will start growing. Why? Because they are having the dividing tissue. Then next, do the roots continue growing even after we have removed their tips? Now in the case of jar 2, what we have done? We have uh, cut the roots about 1 centimeter. Okay, so do you think the roots will start continue to grow in jar 2? Answer is no. Okay. In the jar 2, the bulb which we have taken, that is onion bulb, its root, it will not grow. Okay. Then next, why would the tips stop growing in jar 2 after we cut them? Now there should be some specific reason after cutting them why they are not growing, because they don't have dividing tissue. So in the case of jar 2, the roots of the onion, okay, it will not grow because they don't have the dividing tissue. The tip of the roots, they are having the dividing tissue. Okay, that is called as meristematic tissue. So that is not present, hence there will be no growth. So, growth in plants occurs in specific regions. In the differentiation part, we have learned no that the plant tissue they grow in the specific region. Okay, so these regions are apical, lateral, and intercalary. Okay, so in the plant tissue, we have seen meristematic tissue. So that meristematic tissue, it is having some growing region, a specific region. So those specific regions are apical meristematic tissue, lateral meristematic tissue, and intercalary meristematic tissue. So this region contains fast dividing cell groups called meristematic tissue. So here is the definition. Meristematic tissue means these are the dividing tissues. Okay, they are the fast dividing group of cells or the fast dividing tissues. So when we cut the onion root tip, the apical meristem tissue are cut off. The apical meristem is the main dividing tissue in the root and shoot, which increases the length. As a result, the growth of the root is stopped in these uh, roots. Okay, so the apical meristematic tissue, this is the tissue which is responsible for the increase in the length of the root. Okay, it helps in the dividing of tissue. Okay, so when we cut it off, at that time what happens, the tissue start growing. Okay, this they stop growing. Okay, so the in jar 2 there is no more growth. So here you can see the picture of meristematic tissue that is related to roots of the onion bulb. Okay, so we have taken a part of it. So this tip region, okay, this is called as apical meristem. The middle part, it is called as intercalary, and the bottom part, it is the lateral meristem. So apical, yes. Apical meristem is present at the growing tips of stems and roots and increases the length of the stem and the root. Okay, so apical meristem, where they are present? They are present at the tip of the root. Okay, not only the root, they are present in the stem also. Okay, then they increase the length of the stem and the root. Okay, so this apical meristem, they are responsible for what? For the increase in the length of the stem as well as the root. Then next, the girth of the stem or root increases due to the lateral meristem. Okay, that is cambium. So you can see that the girth, okay, that is in sideways. Okay, uh, that is lateral meristem. It is responsible for the increase in the girth of the stem or root. Okay, so that is the intercalary meristem. Next is intercalary meristem. So this intercalary meristem is the meristem at the base of the leaves or internodes on either side of the nodes on the twigs. Okay, you might have seen that the leaf is attached to the stem or the branches. Okay, the leaf, it is attached to the branches. So the part where it is getting attached, okay, see here, where it is attached. Okay, over there you will find the lateral meristem. Okay, those are present at the internodes. Okay, the leaves where they are attached to the branches, so that part is called as node, and the distance between two nodes, it is called as internode. Suppose this is, think it as a leaf. Okay, so this is called as node, and this is also called as node. So the distance between these two is called as internode. So the cells of this tissue are very active. They have a dense cytoplasm, thin cellulose walls, and prominent nuclei. They lack vacuoles. Can you think why they would lack vacuoles? Now see here, the cells of the tissue are very active. So the this meristematic tissue, which is having apical meristem, intercalary meristem, and lateral meristem, they are very active. Why? Because they are dividing tissue. They carry out the dividing of the cells. Okay, they help in the growth of the plant. Okay, they forms the new part or new tissue in the plant, and they have a dense cytoplasm. Okay, so cytoplasm, it is a jelly like substance which is enclosed by cell wall. Okay, so we have learned that cell wall, it is present only in the plant cell. So this cytoplasm is very dense in the case of uh, plant tissue. They have a thin cellulose walls. Okay, the outermost covering of the tissue, they are made up of cellulose, and they are very thin as compared to other tissues. And it is having a prominent nuclei. Okay, that is the first primitive nuclei. They lack vacuoles. So vacuoles are absent in the meristematic tissue. Now, what is the reason that why they don't have the vacuoles? Okay, you can find the answer of this in your previous chapter. Okay, we have learned about this. So find the answer of this, that why the vacuoles are absent in the meristematic tissue. Okay, so by this way we have completed one part of the chapter. If you do have any questions, just let me know. Lack means it might be absent or it is present but in a limited. That is, it is not so much. So where mathematics tissue?
Okay, sir.
Yes, you can submit. So in what we have learned in today's class, do you have any doubt related to that? Okay, I have sent you homework related assignment. You have not read it properly, I think so. You just opened the app and you went to the this part, that is material attached. Whether you have read the description, in the description it is mentioned. Question is mentioned in the description. Why that description is given? Yeah, 2 days time was given. I have given you 2 days time. That is Saturday and Sunday. And still you are not able to submit, means what can I do? Okay,
Sir, my app was not opening, so I did not get the assignment.
whether it is completed.
No, sir, I have to complete today because today the app has opened.
Okay, no problem. So you can do it.
Sir, I can send in doubt
Yes, you can submit in doubt
or
section. If it's
okay, sir.
possible, you can submit it in anyway. How it's possible, you can just go with that. No problem.
Okay, sir.
Okay, the one who is facing the problem, you can send the homework in the doubt section. Don't worry, I'll just check it out. Okay, so in today's class, the things which we have learned, I'll be asking you questions. You can answer me. Okay, I'll ask you questions and you have to answer.
The first chapter is not completed.
First chapter is not completed. Matter in our surroundings.
Yes,
Don't
sir.
don't worry. We are going partial way. Means chemistry as well as biology. So today and tomorrow you are having the biology class. Then after that again you will be having chemistry class. Okay. So don't worry. We will complete all your portion. Okay. Then I'll be asking you questions. Answer it. The one who knows the answer. So what do you mean by tissue? What do you mean by tissue?
Sir, group of cells. Group of cells. The
Yes.
group of cell is known as tissue.
Very good. That's the correct answer. A group of cell, it is called as tissue. Now my second question. Do you think that all the tissues are having the same function?
No, sir. No, sir. No, sir. No, sir. No, sir.
They don't have the same function. That's the correct answer. Okay. So we are having plant tissue and animal tissue. So can you differentiate plant tissue and animal tissue? Can you? Yes, differentiate. A person can tell one point. Okay, related to locomotion, that is movement. Tell me, plant tissue and animal tissue.
Plants are stationary.
Plants are,
Stationary or fixed, they don't move.
yes, very good. What about the animals?
Sir, animals have muscle cells, plants do not have.
Yes, very good. So animals, they are having the muscle tissue, so they are moving. Okay, they can move, but in the case of plants, they can't. They don't have the muscle tissue. Very good. Then what about the growth in both the cases?
Plants fix growth.
If plants, they are having the specific growth. Okay, means they are growing in a particular region. Okay, then what about in the case of animals?
Sir, they don't have specific growth.
They don't have specific growth. Then what kind of growth they are having?
Uniform growth.
Yes, that is the correct answer. Very good. In animals, we are having the uniform growth. Very good. The next point. Yes. Anything else? Next point. Whether dead
Sir,
tissue, something related to dead tissue, can you tell me? Which one is having dead tissue? Plant tissue or animal tissue?
plant.
Plants are having the dead tissue. And why it is present in the plants? Yes. Do you have skeleton in your body? What is the function of that
Yes.
skeleton?
Yes.
Yes, what is the function of it?
Provides mechanical strength.
Yes, it provides the mechanical strength. So plants, they don't have any skeleton in the body. So this dead tissue, they provide the support, mechanical support. Okay. So these are the differences which we have learned. Very good. Okay. Then plant tissue. Do we have any classification in plant tissue? Can you tell the classification? Which are the two?
Meristematic tissue and permanent tissue.
Very good. So we are having two types of plant tissue, that is meristematic tissue and that is permanent
Permanent
tissue.
tissue.
Yes, permanent tissue. Very good. Okay. Then what is this meristematic tissue?
Dividing tissue.
Very
Dividing
good.
tissue.
Mesometic tissue are the dividing tissue. They keep on dividing. Okay, they go on dividing. Very good. Then what about the permanent tissue? Which I sorry, we have not learned. No. Okay, I'll just see that. So meristematic tissue, it is classified into how many uh, groups or how many parts?
Three.
Three. Okay. So which are those?
Apical, lateral, and intercalary.
Yes, very good. So meristematic tissue is divided into three parts, that is apical meristem, lateral meristem, and intercalary meristem. Okay, so we have learned all these things. Okay, perfect. Now, the one who is having any